I don't even know what to say, lads. Conceded in that minute, it's just not good at all. I have to admit, I didn't watch most of the game because I were out. I watched from the last 20 minutes at first off. I watched that, and I watched from about 70th minute onwards. But from what I saw in the second half, apart from the goal, we weren't even at it then. First half, I thought we were quite poor as well. It's just there's not much to say apart from we're bottling it again. I think now I want to be as realistic as possible. I want to just say that I think we personally bottled it. We're still 6 as it stands. Yes, you might get the fans arguing, well, what points on board? But there's teams above us, Middlesbrough and Luton with games in hand, even Bournemouth. Bournemouth's not going to matter because they're second anyway. But there's Luton, Middlesbrough games in hand. Teams with Wolves with games in hand. You've got your Sheffield United, your Nottingham Forest who have 3 games. QPR with a game in hand. So I think it's just a shame to see that. I think playing 5 at back, the lineup was just awful from the beginning. Playing a 5 at back, when I be centre back, no. Play a 4 at back, go back to a 4-2-3-1. Fucking no, that's what we should have done. Playing Gallagher on right hand side. Why are you playing him as a winger, Mowbray? You're a stubborn arsehole, mate. It's what you are. You're absolutely stubborn. You don't play players in correct position, and it's no wonder we go on bad runs all the time, mate. Every few seasons, last 3-4 seasons, every January, we win a one, then we lose like 10 in a row, something, get a few points, draw a few. Just every time after New Year, we're just shit after New Year. I'm actually fuming about it. All these games now, we have to win. We have to win. No point. A point maybe against Bournemouth may be good. We have to win them all if we want to be in playoffs. We can't afford to be dropping points. We've dropped 10 points from winning positions due to the last 10 minutes of the game, either conceding to lose, not conceding to lose, either conceding to draw. And yeah, lost 10 points because of that winning positions. And if you're going to add on the other games where we've conceded in 90 plus minute, last 10 minutes from the 80th minute, then we've lost 16 points. So it's just one of them. Add 10 points up, but I don't know, second, something like that. Add another 10 points on from second, I think it would be. But yeah, not good enough. I'm fed up. I might do a vlog for the Blackpool game. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, I will be going, but whether I'm motivated to do it is a different story, because I'm not motivated for Rovers stuff at the minute. Not with this shit. Something needs to change. Either we shake Mowbray by the hand, thank you for what you've done, and you're not here next season. I think personally we shouldn't be playing the players who are out of contract who don't want to sign, so I don't think we should play a Rothwell anymore. I don't think we should play an Amby anymore, even if they're the better options. Play players who want to play for the club and play for the badge. I think that's the only way to go. Yeah, it's just another fucking shitter, isn't it, boys? Can't be arsed anymore, man.
Oh, God. Feel sick, to be honest, after what feels like a loss. Being, a win snatched from our hands right at the last second. And, as much as people can say, the referee, we were meant to play 6 minutes, and obviously they scored in the 99th. I think when you take into consideration that Rothwell went down right at the start of injury time, Gallagher then went down, we then had a pitch invader come on. I don't feel like we should be aggrieved in any way with the fact that the referee played for 10 minutes as opposed to 6. Got no one to blame other than the manager, in my opinion. We can't expect to go to Coventry away, a very good team in this league, and only play for half a game and expect to win, to be honest. We were extremely lucky to go in at half-time 1-0. That flattered us. honestly, one of the worst halves of football I've seen us play this season, and that's saying something, considering, I've seen us concede 5 in one half against Fulham. I've seen the absolute shit show that we had against Derby in that first half, and that was up there today. Like, absolutely awful. And again, the players got booed off the pitch by the travelling fans, and rightly so, in my opinion. You travel all this way, the least you expect is a little bit of quality and at least for us to have an idea of what we're doing. But yet again, it was the same. It was same as usual. Like, what has he actually been doing for the past 2 weeks with the players, other than some shitty corner tactics that he tried twice, and it didn't work either time. Like, those were the only new things I actually saw brought to the table in that first half. Like, Tony Mowbray's still under the impression that 5 at the back works. It's been completely sussed out. I thought after the Derby game, where we were absolutely awful first half with the 5 at the back, changed to a 4-3-3 in the second half. I thought that was the wake up call, but no, we got to Reading and end up losing because we persist with a 5 at the back, even though we didn't have the personnel really to be playing with it. We persisted with it for some reason. And then again today, we persist with the 5 at the back, and I can't understand for the life of me why. Like, I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I just sit here and scratch my head and wonder why we're doing this. Like, is it not as clear as day to everyone? It's as clear as day to everyone that the 5 at the back isn't working. Like, the difference between the first half and the second half of Derby and today is absolutely night and day. Like, it's clear, it's just there to see. And I guarantee the next game, Blackpool at home, he starts with the 5 at the back, because he is so fucking stubborn, and I absolutely hate him for it. He can't admit that this formation that he's adamant on persisting with, because it got us because we had a good run of form with it, but it's also the formation that has now contributed to the worst run of form we've had this season, and he still won't divert away from it. It's not working, Mowbray. I don't know what needs to happen for you to realise that, but it's shit. It's been sussed out completely. The midfield gets completely bypassed. Like, how bad in the first half was Travis? Travis was awful. Rothwell was missing. Buckley up front again as a false 9. All 3 of them were so much better in the second half in the midfield. You had Travis sitting, and then Rothwell and Buckley just in front as like a diamond shape. And then you had a front 3 in front of them of Diaz, Dack and Gallagher. It was brilliant. Like, Buckley won the corner for the second goal and assisted Dack for the first. And that is exactly what Buckley is. He is someone who's going to create chances for the team. He's not going to be putting the ball in the back of the net. So why is he playing at false 9? Travis needs that support in that midfield, and as does Rothwell. Like, you can't expect 2 men in that midfield to cover the entire pitch. It's silly. So I've said the entire time, when we were on our good run, we were playing a 5-3-2. But ever since Hull, we've been playing a 5-2-3, and our midfield has been bypassed every single time. Like, we've picked up a win here and there. Like, you look at the Middlesbrough game and stuff, but it's night and day, the difference between before the whole game and after the whole game. So it just needs to be changed now. You can't persist with this. It's insanity at this point what he's doing. Like, I just playing the same formation that's been sussed and playing the same players in the same silly positions. Like today, I just sit there and I think, why are you playing Giles, who isn't a goal scorer by any means? He's not like Mo Salah, who's going to be cutting in on his left foot and bending him in. every single time Giles was getting the ball on the right-hand side, it was so obvious what he was going to do. Every single time he cut onto his left foot, and every single time it was a shit cross because he had to cut in. You play him on the left and you have Gallagher at the back post, just like with his assist against Derby, where he put a beautiful ball in for Gallagher to head home, and he was on the left and Gallagher was on the right. Like, that is a tried and tested. That has been tried and tested against Derby. Yet for some reason in Mowbray's head he thinks, oh no, I'll play him on the right where he constantly has to cut in instead of just getting the ball in first time. And he's cutting in, and it's meaning he's just putting shit ball after shit ball in. He's a top quality player, Giles, and for some reason Mowbray's just using him so stupidly. I can't get my head around it. Then we're playing Gallagher on the left, who's right-footed. Are we really expecting Gallagher to cut in? Like, he's not agile at all. He's a player who's on his right foot and he's just going to shoot. He's not going to be taking any men on and trying to beat a man to then cut in and bend it in. You know what I mean? It's stupid. And I wish someone would just sit down with him and just ask him every single one of these points that not just me, but every single fan is thinking in terms of the formation, in terms of where he plays, players, and just say, what is your logic behind this? Because I'm honestly baffled. He's a fucking professional coach, and yet we sit here and see things that to us it's just plain as simple. Like, you shouldn't be doing this, and I don't know, but I mean, you know, second half, there are some positives to at least take from that. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, playoffs is done now. It will take a miracle for us to finish in the playoffs. You know, I've looked at the table, and with the games in hand, the teams around us have, I just can't see a scenario where we end up sneaking in. I'll be very, very, very surprised if we do. And if we do, we need to win at least 4 of the last 6 games now, which, again, I just can't see happening in our current run of form. We're one of the worst teams in the division right now. So, unless something drastic happens, like Mowbray changing the formation, which I hope to God he does, because I don't want to see another half of football where we're absolutely shite, and then it takes us, the fans, to boo the players off the pitch, which we don't want to do. But we almost need to provoke a reaction at this point. Because if we don't and we sit there and be content, then he won't do anything. Because in his head, everything's absolutely fine. For some fucking reason that baffles me. So, there was encouraging signs there between Dack and Diaz. The interplay was nice. It was nice just to see Diaz back in the team. Dack got his first goal, which is just Bradley Dack all over, just a cross into the box. He just heads, puts it away. It's something that Gallagher wishes he could fucking do in a box full of players. You know, Gallagher only seems to be able to win a header if he's up against someone who's half the size of him, or if he's free in the box. So, you know, it's a poacher's goal almost, and it's just that predatory instinct that Bradley Dack has, what someone like Sam Gallagher just doesn't have. And in my opinion, he needs to be starting the next game. Diaz needs to be starting the next game. We need to start with, you know, what basically the team that finished, other than maybe I'd say Dolan or Kadra for Gallagher if possible, and I'd probably play Buckley. I would play Buckley in that midfield over Hedges. You know, I'd go with Kaminski, Nyambe, Van Heck. And then it's a tough one, because if Lenian's fit, do you play Lenian over Wharton? Wharton obviously scored today. I think I'd play Wharton. Don't rush Lenian back. Pickering, and then say Travis with Rothwell and Buckley just in front, and then Diaz, Dack, and then Kadra, Dolan. I'd probably say Dolan because obviously Kadra's coming back, so I'd maybe want to give him a go off the bench before I chuck him in at the deep end. But, you know, you start that lineup against Blackpool, you just fucking take the game to them. We're at home. At this point, we've got nothing to lose because, you know, there's not a cat and mouse chance we're not going to be where there's not a cat and mouse chance, we are going to be, in the top 6 once the rounders have played their games in hand. We're going to be at least a few points off, so we just need to start going for the wins now. Like, we can't be so safe and pragmatic with this 5 at the back bollocks. We just need to take the game to them, and if we lose, we lose. But at least we can say we tried fighting. You know, like, I'd much rather that than just go out with a whimper. Like, at least give the fans something to cheer about at this point. You know, it was brilliant whilst it lasted, having that lead today. Just the comeback and everything, and it was absolutely heart-wrenching stuff, having it taken away from us. I couldn't even look at the Coventry fans, to be honest, after it went in, because that was it. It was last minute, and it was just horrible. Obviously getting so much shit off in the first half because we were awful and they knew we were awful. And then to come out in the second half, score straight away, silence them, and then to get the second, and just completely silence them again. It was brilliant, and I think every single Rovers fan thought we were going to do it. And I mean, imagine how different the mood would be right now if we were coming away from Coventry 1-0 down to win 2-1. But, it's just not meant to be. And I said to one of my friends, I said, it's things like these where you just kind of think it's just not your season. Today, if it was our season, we'd win. At Sheffield United, the penalty goes in. At Bristol, the penalty goes in. We don't end up losing Bristol. We don't end up losing Sheffield United. It even goes far back to games like Coventry at home and Luton at home earlier on in the season, where we were 2-0 up both times and ended up bottling it and drawing 2-2 both times. These are season-defining things in my eyes, and especially as of late with the Bristol, Sheffield United, and now today. I just think, it's going to cost us, unfortunately. That's 6 points there. Add those 6 points into what we've got right now and things look so much different. But, I can only blame Mowbray. I don't even put it on the players, to be honest, because Mowbray has set them up for failure by being so stubborn in his ways. Like I said, he's had 2 weeks to change a formation that clearly hasn't been working, a formation that, by all accounts, at half-time on the Derby game, the players were telling him they wanted to change because they weren't happy with it. They couldn't understand why they were playing a defensive midfielder as a false 9, which still baffles me to this day. He's had 2 weeks to get on the grass with him and go to the 4-3-3 or change it in any way, so it's not just so obvious to the opposition what they have to do to neutralise us, which was for all to see today in that first half, that if we do play with the 5 at the back, teams will just overrun us in midfield and just get in behind. It was simple as that. Like I said, there should have been 2-3-0 up. 1-0 completely flattered us, and to be honest, Coventry deserved the draw. But obviously it's just gut-wrenching when we lose the win last second. But they should have definitely been 2-3-0 up, so I can't complain that I'm here with a draw, because we didn't deserve the win at all, because we were only the better side for one half. The Coventry were far superior the first half. So it's just horrible to think that, after being the better side for the second half, we then go and lose it last second, even though the entirety of the second half, that was probably the only chance they had. So, we need to dust ourselves down, go against Blackpool, a team that when we last played them at their ground, we were playing McGlaw at right back and Carter at centre back. Obviously a very weakened team on the day. We didn't have our captain Lenny, and we're having to play Travis as our captain. So, obviously circumstances that day, I would hope we'd win this game at home. not that it really matters now, in my opinion. Like I said, I genuinely can't see it happening now. And even before today, it was more hope than me actually thinking we could. But I just don't see any way we can now. Sheffield United, Borough, and Forest, just the games in hand they have, we're just realistically not going to be pushing any of them out the top 6. So, yeah, let's just enjoy these little kind of derby games we've got now from now till the end of the season against Blackpool and Preston. Hopefully we can beat them, get a bit of bragging rights, and just kind of end the season on a positive. You know, Mowbray's not going to be here with us next season. I have no doubt about that now, because I can't see us making the playoffs. And I think, personally, he's fed up of the fans getting on his back, but he's only got himself to blame why the fans keep getting on his back, because he's just stubborn, and I don't think he realises it.
Very disappointing end to that game, but we didn't have the players. We didn't have Lenihan, the captain. We didn't have a player like Ayala who could step in and play that role. We've got young defenders, and we didn't see the game out properly. We didn't have enough going forward in attack. We weren't ambitious enough. Blackburn Rovers weren't ambitious enough. The team wasn't ambitious enough to try and get the third goal. We're lacking creativity for some reason, even though we've got creative players. We're lacking the ability to make goals. We don't have it. I mean, Dack comes on at half time and he scores a goal, he makes something happen, but he can't do it all on his own. You know? The other players have to be doing that as well. Creating and doing what Dack's doing. And there's not enough of it. There's simply not enough of it. You know, you get to 2-1, you know, you fight back from being a goal down to Coventry, who are much better than Blackburn in the first half, far superior, yeah. And we were lucky to just be 1 goal down. And, you know, we change it around. Tony changes it around. He brings on Diaz. He brings on Dack. And we get back into the game. Through the Dack goal, and then later on the Wharton goal, you know, fair play, that was well worked. An assist from Rothwell from the corner, and the Wharton header. So fair play, that was all good. But then we're hanging up. But then we decide it's just defence. Then we decide we're 2-1 up. We just let them have the ball and run riot. And we think, it's like if you invite a full-on attack, you know, eventually the enemy finds a chink in the armour and gets through. And that's what happened. And all right, it shouldn't have been allowed to get to that point. The referee should have blown the whistle in added time. There's too much added time. But was that because the Blackburn Rovers players were time wasting too much? And the ref said, right, I'm going to add on some more time. So that serves them right in a way for time wasting. Don't time waste. Try and attack. Try and get the third goal. Try and get another goal. You know? It's just a negative mentality of when you're 2-1 up, you just say, right, you know, we didn't have the players to deal with that. That's the problem. We didn't have if we'd had Ayala or Lenihan, we might have been able to see it out. But we didn't. We didn't have the experience, the defensive know-how to keep them out. That's the problem. And if you don't have that, then you've got to go the other way and try and get the third goal. And it all back, but they didn't do that, and it backfired because they don't have the experience and the know-how to see it out. And it's frustrating and disappointing, but it's not surprising. Anyway, Blackburn Rovers forever.